What's up guys, this is Crypto James talking to you today about Yield Guild Games. Now they have been on a tear for about 7 days or so now. And main investors, early investors are dumping on it, and it's still been rising quite steadily. So I'm going to break down what Yield Guild Games is, along with what I think this can potentially do in terms of price. Which you'll see by the title of this video. I'm not expecting tons, but I'll explain why in this. Before I get into it though, if you're new to the channel, or even a returning viewer who doesn't know what the spreadsheet is, these are the first 26 coins that I did videos about on the channel. And in all the videos I showed everyone I was buying these coins up because I expect them to have profits. And you can see what the prices of all these coins were when I recorded my videos. You can see the highs these coins hit in under 18 months. And if you'd popped in $100 into each one, that would have been a $2,600 investment in total. Selling 18 months on, your net profit from that 2,600 would have been 123 grand. Between 40 and 50x on your money in under 18 months. That's not bad. Now, I sold these. I've been buying up new cryptos since we had the market crash. Recently added a couple of coins to my portfolio, ones that I think have 100x potential. And I share the coins that I'm in on my website, copymycrypto.com. So anytime I buy a coin, I let my members know what the coin is, why I think it can have significant profits, what the profits I think it can have are, and what percentage of my money I'm putting in. When I sell a coin, I let my members know what coin I'm selling, what percentage I'm selling, and what I'm doing with my profits, whether it's reinvesting it or whether it's banking it. So it's completely transparent. I do all the work. I dive into the markets on a daily basis. I find the coins that are winners. I get in on them, and the members can literally copy along and make the same profits I do, except they don't have to do any of the work. So the 10, 15, 20,000 hours worth of research that's constantly happening is just done by myself, my team, and the members can get to chill out. And if that sounds good to you, go over to copymycrypto.com now and read through the site. Everything on the site is public record, so you can verify absolutely everything you read, watch, and see on the site by just going through the videos on the history of this channel. So pause the vid now, go to the site, check it out, see if it's for you. Right, Yield Guild Games. So in the last day, up about 10%. In the last 7 days, as you can see, up massively, 300+%, nearly 400% at this point, really. About 300. So what is Yield Guild Games? Yield Guild Games is a decentralized autonomous organization that invests in virtual world NFTs. The organization's objective is to develop the world's largest virtual economy, optimize its assets to maximize utility, and share revenues with its stakeholders. So in decentralized games, Yield Guild Games has built a community of players and investors who make money by investing in NFTs that are used in real worlds and used in virtual worlds and blockchain-based games. So people became more eager to participate and play to earn. When everything was going on in the world, along with the growth of projects like Axie Infinity. So who are the founders of Yield Guild Games? Well, it's a Manila-based company founded by Gabby Dizon, as part of the team that launched the Axie Infinity and Yearn finance communities. Beryl Lee and Owl of Moistness co-founded the game studio. Beryl Lee is an entrepreneur and alumni of Cambridge, and she's also a co-founder at CapChainX. Owl of Moistness is a blockchain developer has built algorithms for bots, NFTs, as well as and for Axie Infinity. The Yield Guild Game team has at least over 20 members, with Nolan Manalo, also known as Nate, as the head of the gaming operations. So what makes this unique is that the DAO's principal revenue comes from leveraging the assets owned by Yield Guild Games, either via a rental scheme in which members of the guild use the assets in exchange for a portion of the in-game rewards going directly to Yield Guild Games. So for in-game assets such as land, third parties can generate revenue by conducting economic activities on that in-game land. NFT ownership will gain from an increase in the economic worth of the in-game asset. And the game also contains a play-to-earn feature where users receive native tokens for in-game activity. It's quite a clever idea. It's quite a clever concept. It's basically a revenue share concept. And the reason that it had the pump was it was listed by Binance. So basically we saw a 250% surge in seven days. That's more. That now is more like 300% surge. And yeah, it was recently added to Binance, and we saw a ton of early investors depositing loads of Yield Guild Game tokens and selling. So Wintermute Trading deposited a total of 11.1 million of these tokens to exchange in the past 4 days. URB Capital deposited 1 million of them to Binance and still holds 11.6 million. We also saw Sathermium and Bitcraft Ventures who deposited. And yeah, we've seen like a bit of downward pressure. The DWF Labs deposited 3.65 million of these tokens, and you know we're expecting that there's going to be a bit of a sell-off. I think Yield Guild Games, if I'm right, was added on futures. I'll double check that. It was so the listed Yield Guild Games and futures transactions. And Binance does have the Binance effect, same as Coinbase has the Coinbase effect. And yeah, institutional investors have started selling, so they've started getting returns on their early investments. Now, makes sense. Now, if you go onto Yield Guild, these are some of the games that obviously the Guild participate in. You've got Axie Infinity, you've got Big Time, Castaways, Castle Crush, Illuvium, League of Kingdoms, Sandbox, Splinterlands. They're the most well known of all of these. So you can literally just, if you open up one, it will take you to the panel where you can add this as something that you want to play. It's a Big Time is a free-to-play multiplayer action RPG, story centered around a mysterious threat. And then within this, they have quests, they have games, they have the guilds. But what's quite interesting as well is they really are trying to create a community feel here. So, you know, there are guides here that show you how you can effectively earn more. So, Master Axie Origins with spam and rice. So, you can also see the announcements for the Guild Advancement Program. But everything requires you joining up to actually see it. See? Cannot get off unless I go back. So what they've done is really create a community vibe to this. Now I actually like this a lot, and I think it's a very good concept. I do actually think this can run up quite nicely in price. The thing is what people do need to remember is there's like, you know, when it reached its high, which I believe was a little over $11, $11.50, right? Circulating supply was way smaller. So if it ran up to $11 now, that would put it at a market cap of over 2.6 billion. Well, nearly 2.9 billion, which is pretty massive, given that right now it's a guild that are, yes, granted, they have the games and they have an interactive community. The community is going to be a big thing, but I'm not convinced this is necessarily going to be one of those things that just bangs up to multi-billion-dollar market cap. Maybe it does, maybe it can, but I would be looking at this as a sort of target point. I'd be thinking around between $4 and $5, maybe $5 at a push, which technically would put it at a market cap of over $1 billion. But we never really saw. We saw a bit of volume for it. You know, some days were pretty spectacular, to be fair. But generally, you know, it wasn't huge volume. Since the market crashed, volumes dropped and dwindled dramatically. We've had a recent massive surge, obviously, in volume. Like huge surge. I mean, this is the biggest volume it's had. $500 million. So there's obviously a lot of excitement in and around this since it was added as a futures contract. And I can see this, rallying nicely in price, but there is a lot of institutional investors ready to dump on this. So I think there's going to be a lot of downward pressure coming over the next few days. Like, I don't expect this momentum to continue. I would be expecting this to come back down to around 50 cents in the short term. In the long term, I do think this can come back up to maybe $5. It's going to depend hugely on the success of the NFT assets that they're buying within these games. If they are buying top tier assets that end up being for games that end up exploding in the next bull cycle, they're going to be worth tons. Then the $5 is a prediction that I've got is irrelevant, because if they've got some of the assets that end up being worth the kind of crazy money that we saw in the last bull cycle with stuff like the Bored Apes as an example, then they're going to bang up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them break double digits once again. But that's going to be the biggest thing, is seeing and checking through the assets, which I haven't had a chance to do. But in terms of a concept, I think this is awesome as an idea. It's a very clever one. Get community members involved, get them renting out, do a sort of profit share. I really like it, but there is still 74% of the tokens to come out. That's going to take a bit of time. But when they come out as well, obviously that's selling pressure for all the early investors as well. So I think there's just going to be enough downward pressure that's going to stop it from doing that sort of double-digit run. So be looking at $5, that's sort of the level that I'm thinking this is at. Because selling pressure is always going to be there from your institutions, especially those early investors. And to be honest, the team are going to have paid themselves, so the team are going to want to cash in. So while I like it as a project, I think there's probably a lot of downward pressure coming in the short term, and I think there'll probably be a lot of downward pressure and selling pressure coming in the next bull cycle, which will probably stop it from doing sort of an exponential run. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think this can run to $10, $20? Do you think this is going to be worth tens of billions? Let me know. And if you are currently trading it on futures, be careful if those are institutions waiting to sell. And that is it from me, guys. If you're a returning viewer, by the way, hit the subscribe button. Well, if you're a new viewer, hit the subscribe button. Guys, if you want to take the work out of crypto investing, if you want to make your crypto easier, head over to copymycrypto.com. It is a site I run where I do all the work. I dive into the markets, I find the coins that are winners, and I get in on them. Exactly like I did with Phantom. And remember, in 2020, there wasn't a single YouTuber on the planet talking about Phantom as 100x crypto. I literally created a course called The Best Cryptocurrency Investment of 2020. And it was all about why Phantom is going to 100x or more. And I've found a few coins that I think have that 100x potential as well. And I've gotten in on them recently. And members have too. If you want to find out about them, head over to copymycrypto.com and go read through that site. Everything you read, everything you watch, everything you see is all on the history of this YouTube channel. So you can read through it all, you can have a look through it all, and you can verify and confirm everything that you've read and watched and seen on the history of this channel. And maybe I'll see you there, guys. Anyway, take care.